Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to break down the visceral and honestly kind of hidden reality of how credit card interest silently drains your wallet every single day. Look, if you've ever stared at a credit card statement and felt a slight sense of confusion about how the interest actually stacks up, you are definitely not alone. It happens to the absolute best of us. But today, we're pulling back the curtain. We're going to make that invisible math entirely visible so you can truly understand what is happening behind the scenes of your balance.
So let's kick things off with a simple, but maybe slightly uncomfortable question about the money sitting on your card right this second. Seriously, take a moment to really think about it. Do you know exactly what your credit card cost you today? Not last month, not over the course of the whole year, but today specifically? Most of us don't, right? We just swipe, maybe check the overall balance, and wait for the monthly statement to hit our inbox. But that waiting period, that is exactly where the damage is being done. Okay, moving into section 1, the abstract interest trap. To really understand this trap, we got to look at how credit card interest is usually presented to us and why our brains are just so naturally good at ignoring it. And hey, it's not because we aren't smart with our money. It's because the financial system uses a specific type of framing that lulls us into a false sense of security. The fundamental trap we fall into is forgetting the core timeline of how banks operate. While interest is billed to you on a neat little monthly statement, the banks are actually calculating it on a daily basis. That is the secret mechanism at play here. Calculated daily, billed monthly. You see the damage once every 30 days, but the meter is actually running every single time the sun comes up. Which brings us to section 2, the daily math revealed. Let's strip away all the financial jargon for a minute and dive into the exact math on a standard outstanding balance of, say, 100,000 rupees. Here is the actual formula the banks are using. Step 1, they take a standard monthly rate, which in India is typically around 3.5%. Step 2, they divide that 3.5% by 30 days. The result, you get 0.1167% per day. Now, when you hear a number like 0.1167%, it sounds completely harmless, right? It sounds practically microscopic. And honestly, that is exactly what the banks are counting on. But what happens when we actually apply that tiny, seemingly harmless percentage to our balance? Well, when you multiply your $100,000 balance by that 0.1167% daily rate, the math suddenly gets very, very real. It comes out to $116.70 per day. Let's just round that up to make it super memorable, 117 rupees. That means every single day you carry that $1 million balance without paying it off, you owe the bank 117 rupees more than you did the day before. Imagine literally handing over 117 rupees in physical cash to someone every single morning before you even brush your teeth. You wake up, you hand over the cash, and you get absolutely nothing in return. That is exactly what is happening in the background of your finances right now. All right, section 3, the cost multiplied. Now let's look at how incredibly fast that daily 117 rupee penalty snowballs when left unchecked over time, because obviously it never just stops at one day. Just leaving that $100,000 balance alone adds up terrifyingly fast. In just 1 week, you've paid 819 rupees. Keep it sitting there for a month, and you're down 3,510 rupees. Leave it for 3 months, that comes to a staggering 10,530 rupees. Doing so is a massive drain on your wallet. You haven't bought anything new. You haven't enjoyed a nice dinner out or taken a weekend trip. You've just paid over 10,000 rupees for the mere privilege of holding onto that original debt. And here is the absolute kicker. This calculation is entirely before compounding. Remember, this is just the baseline, because as the monthly interest gets added to your principal debt, your daily penalty amount actually grows each and every month. Next month, you aren't paying interest on 100,000 rupees anymore. You are paying interest on 103,510 rupees. That 117 daily charge creeps up to 118 rupees, then 120, and it just keeps accelerating. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, gathering speed and size the longer you let it go. Moving on to section 4, the psychological shift. So why are we focusing so much on this daily rate rather than the annual one? It's purely psychological. How we frame our money completely dictates how we behave with it. Hearing a figure like 42% per annum feels, well, incredibly abstract. It's a corporate, distant number that's super easy to brush off or tell yourself you'll deal with later because it feels like a problem for future you. But knowing you actively lose 117 rupees per day, now that is concrete. That's immediate. It's the cost of a cup of coffee or a daily commute just vanishing from your account every 24 hours. Take a real-world example from our sources. Consider Sunita, who admitted she hadn't paid attention to her credit card interest for 3 months. When you translate her experience into our daily math, she wasn't just ignoring an abstract statement. What she was fundamentally saying is, I paid 117 rupees every single day for 90 days straight, completely blindly. When you frame it like a human story, as money actively leaving her pocket day after day without her realization, it's a completely different emotional reaction, isn't it?
Daily framing makes the cost immediate and personal. This simple shift brilliantly transforms the cost from a distant, boring math problem on a PDF statement into an immediate personal penalty. When you start viewing your debt as a daily tax on your life, it creates the perfect sense of urgency you need to finally tackle it and pay it down. It literally shifts you from being a passive observer of your debt to an active participant in eliminating it. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final thought to deeply consider regarding your own finances today. Log into your banking app. Look at your outstanding balance today. Do the exact math we just learned together. Divide your monthly interest rate by 30 and multiply it by your balance. Ask yourself, what is your actual daily rate right now? And more importantly, are you okay with paying it again tomorrow?